Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to episode 9. Today we're going to talk about one of the best ways to start your real estate portfolio. So guys, listen, a lot of people always ask, how do I start in real estate? I don't have this, I only have that, I only have this certain amount of money. What's the best way? I want to get the most for less. We all agree on one of the best ways to start. We figured it'd be a great episode to go ahead and really dive into that and let people know what we all agree on as far as one of the best ways to start your portfolio, right? And with that being said, DT, if you can introduce to everybody the way that we believe is one of the best ways to start your portfolio. So I'll go ahead and hand it off to you.
Yeah, real life story. My brother, I got one brother, 2 sisters. My younger brother, he was like, hey, I want to do this. I want to get involved. How do I do it? And I explained to him buy a multifamily, 4 unit, 5 unit, 6 unit, live in one of the apartments. You're single. You don't have no kids. You don't have, you got a girlfriend whenever you feel like having one. That would be the way. And, the financing you get super creative with. So at the time he had a job. He deals with like mental health, kids, like almost adults, teenagers or whatever. And it's very taxing on his life. So he was like, I can't buy a rental unit and be involved with renters. But financially, it sounds like a good thing. So I tried to explain it to him, whatever. Mind you, this is like when I'm first really getting involved in real estate. And, I'm trying to tell him the way to do it because I did the research. But at the time, now I got a wife and I can't do what I'm telling him to do because I have a different set of responsibilities or whatnot.
Responsibilities are different. Yep.
You know what I mean? But so I explained to him, do this, that. Okay, cool. We looked into it. So what I was trying to get him to do was buy like a 3, 4, 5 unit in an affluent neighborhood because he had the credit, he had the income, to be able to substantiate it. And so there was a property that was like 400,000, right? And he was like, I can't afford 400,000. And I was like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. So I explained. So long story short, 400,000 on a primary residence. Let's do the math. Let's just say it's a 4 unit, easy math. 4 unit, 400,000. You have to come up with 3.5% of 400,000.
Which is 14,000.
14,000.
Less than 20,000 to buy a $400,000 property.
I got to stop you. I got to stop you quick. Listen, you guys got to hear that. So you hear 400,000. That's what you hear.
And
most people are taking it back.
You run home and cry under your bed and say, I can't afford it.
But your true number, to put down is 14,000. Right. That would be the 3.5% that you're speaking of. So, we hear about conventional loans where you have to put down the 20% and whatnot, especially on investment properties. Right. So if this is an investment property that he's buying, why is it that he only gets to put down 3.5%?
Right. So why is it? Is because the type of loan he would get would be a FHA because it's his primary residence.
He lives there.
He qualifies for a FHA loan because it's his primary residence. Primary residence, meaning that he's going to reside in that property. So if it's a 4 unit, one of the 4 units he lives in.
Got you. So that's a loophole, basically. So it's an investment property, But because that investment property is going to be his primary property of the home he's going to live in, he'll get it for 3.5% instead of 20%. Is that correct?
So are you also saying, I don't have a house, this is my first house, they give me the first home buyers grant?
Possible, absolutely.
Oh my God.
There's programs out there for sure.
Oh my
So in the market that he's in, so at the time he's living in an apartment, right? He was living in a 1-bedroom. Now, I actually was a studio. He was living in a studio in a pretty affluent, like upcoming hip neighborhood. He was paying $900 for a studio, right? Which in the market that he's living in, that's very expensive. In the market he's living in.
Right.
So I explained to him, because the property he was living in was a 4-unit. So I told, because there's 2 studios and 2 1-bedroom apartments in the building he lived in. And the 2 studios were getting $900 each. And then the 1-bedroom apartments were $1,100. Right. So you're getting $1,800 and then $2,200. So you're $4,000 a month on the income for that apartment that he was living in. That's what the owner for his building was getting. So, and I broke the math down to him like that. Hey, listen, just look at your building. Look what she's getting. Imagine if you owned that building.
Right.
Why not us? Why not you? Why would you not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not us? That's where that comes from, ladies and gentlemen. I know you hear us say that a lot, that being our phrase, but it's that why not us is that example there. You live in that building. Somebody was getting that money. Why not you? Especially if you have the means for it, and you can afford it, and you can use a program like the FHA, an FHA loan to put down 3.5%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely. So his, I love my brother. We have a great relationship, but a lot of the things that I say to him, he like challenges. He doesn't really understand that what I say to him, I'm just saying to him because I love him and I want him to win. I think he thinks like I have to double check. I have to fact check it. So he started asking his friends, and his friends were like, that's not real. That's not real because, my friend or my brother or my cousin or my somebody, and they had to come up for 400,000. They had to pay 80,000. They had to come up with 80,000. So my was like, I don't have 80,000. And he just didn't really pay attention and whatnot. So
let me stop you there real quick. Hold that thought. Yep. So the reason why, because I want to walk people through it as well. So he says 80,000. 80,000 would come from an investor like just Jerry or DT at the moment, because if they go and buy that same building that he's telling his brother to buy, they were going to have to put down that 20% and use a conventional loan.
Yep.
For the simple fact that it's not going to be their primary residence. Mm-hmm. So they cannot use an FHA loan where they can put down 3.5%. So 80,000 for us. But if you use that loophole and make it your primary residence, especially for a first-time home buyer, it's 14%. It's 14,000. I apologize. It's 14,000.
Yep.
I mean, look at the numbers change. It's astronomical. From 80,000 to 14,000. So this is why almost a $500,000 building you can get into, for that price. So I apologize.
You would have known that first.
Oh my God.
And this, I don't want to interrupt you, but this doesn't stop with one. Just know that it doesn't stop because this is your primary address today. Tomorrow, you can't do the same thing again. Just want to make sure that you understand that. Yeah, and I'm only using short terms. Go ahead.
Yep. After 2 years, you can rinse and repeat.
Super important.
Do the same thing. That's a gem right there.
That's a gem. That's like that's information right there. That I don't know. We can go into.
I don't want to get you off the story. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to do it, but I had to say that. I'm sorry.
Right. You know what I wanted to ask though? I was thinking about this after our last podcast, and I watched it, and I went back, and I was like, what? Why they don't teach this course in like high school?
Why don't they teach a lot of stuff?
They don't. I'm about to say they don't teach anything money.
There's no money management
in college.
No compound interest. There's no stocks.
Because not to go sidetrack, but I think it's a very valid point. Because obviously right now kids are going back to school, so I'm very involved. My son is in second grade right now, so his curriculum has nothing to do with real estate. But he was just telling me the other day what they learned in school, and I'm like, you're never gonna use that when you become
never gonna use that.
But I'm thinking like, why isn't this taught in school? Why isn't credit scores, how to fix your credit, build credit? But whatever, we go into that later. So I explained to my brother, hey, listen, your friends, they're I'm not saying what they're saying is wrong, but they're coming from a different perspective. Their friends are buying a property because they're not living in it. That's why they got to come up with this amount and so on and so forth. But he just couldn't see past, that. Like he just, I don't know, for some reason, he didn't believe it. Cool, no problem. So he pays $900 a month for however long he lives there, and he never does it. Probably like 4 or 5 months after this description, I'm dealing with a person, an investor, single-handedly, and he buys the house that he's renting. So now he has to pay rent to a management company, to somebody who I introduced to his property. And I was like, see, I try to tell you. Then it became real to him. But at that point, it was too late because now he has responsibilities.
We could talk about stories for days, brother.
Yeah. For sure.
I have a story that every time I speak real estate with a friend of mine, he believes he needs so much money to get in any type of real estate. And when we continue to say, hey, my man, you if you are you're single, so if you're not a high maintenance guy, I could get you into a multifamily and you only got to put this down. It goes one ear and out the other. It doesn't matter what I'm saying. It doesn't matter in his mind, he believes he has to put 80,000, 100,000 on any type of real estate that we deal with. And I continue and he's still renting to this day. He's not listening. And this is the reason why we speak to you guys, because I'm gonna speak to you guys, and one of you guys out there is gonna say, thank you.
That's crazy that you say that, because my brother, the same story. Now he's renting still. And later, he's still renting.
But listen, there are gonna be people that take this information and run with it. There'll be people that take this information and they'll juggle it a little bit, and they'll play double dutch. They want to do it, but then they don't know when, and but they'll have the information. And then you have other people that go, yeah, I know, whatever. Yeah. But when my friend that does it over here in real life, not on a podcast with you guys, tells me this and tells me that. So, and that might be the route that they go, the person they listen to, and that's fine. Not everything is for everybody.
Absolutely.
But and speaking of that, it's a beautiful segue, right? Not everything's for everybody. What about the person that doesn't want to buy a multifamily, right? But they still want to use the same method, that you're teaching, but they don't want to go multifamily. They favor single family homes. What can they do to make a profit there, or how can they use the same method where they don't have to pay a mortgage as well?
Very interesting perspective.
I see DT over there smiling and laughing.
Yeah, that's his walk. That's his park. Jerry likes multis.
He loves single family homes, and that's crazy about that. I know we spoke about this before, guys, in the podcast. We have people that buy property different ways, but come together to also buy property. But we have one idea that DT loves, and then which is single family homes. And then just Jerry, myself, we like multifamilies. I know everyone hears that discussion, and I keep saying this every podcast. Please stay tuned and wait for that podcast, because that is going to be fireworks in here. That'll probably be the first time you guys see us really go at it and debate. But either way, no one's wrong.
I don't think it'll be right? At the end of the day, you can't be wrong, right? You're never going to be wrong.
So tell me how to use the same thing we're saying in multifamilies with this FHA 3.5%, where you're not going to have to pay your mortgage and somebody else will pay it for you. You own it. How can you have a single family home, because you love single families, and still make it happen where you don't have to have a mortgage?
Well, so there's there's a way where you could do like rooming, right? So if I purchased a house, a single family home for, let's say, 100 grand, depending on your market, right? So one of the markets that I'm very, very familiar with, there's several colleges in that market, right? So again, it's all based off of where you're at in life. Like if you're single, like at the time when I was talking to my brother, he was 18, 19 years old. He's dating, he's still going out and still he works, very responsible with that, but, lives a nightlife or whatever. So if I'm that guy, why would I not buy a house in the area next to a college for 100 grand, let's say 150,000 on the high side or whatnot. I have a $1,100 mortgage, 3 or 4 bedroom house. I'm renting out. So I have the best bedroom, right? I have my house decked out for me, the 1 bedroom. I have my own bathroom or something like that, right? I have 3 more bedrooms or 2 more bedrooms. I'm renting out $500 each bedroom, $400 each bedroom to college students. So let's just say I have a 4 bedroom house. I'm renting out 3 other bedrooms for $500 a piece. My mortgage is $1,200, $1,100. Taxes, insurance, everything included. $1,500 is my income. Passively, I'm receiving $300 a month. So I live for free and I make $300 a month. Matter of fact, let's just say I make $250 a month because $50 out of that $300, I pay my water bill.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Why did you you're paying $1,100 mortgage and you
get
$1,500? Why is it $300?
Because I'm including my water bill and I'm including like lawn care service.
Correct.
Which
if you don't put that out there, nobody really knows that's the reason.
Water bill, lawn care, because I don't want to do nothing. I just want to come home, live my life. I don't want to go outside and maintain the house. I don't want to, I don't want to do nothing. I just want to come home and have fun. So I pay for lawn care. I pay for a snow plow guy, and then I also pay for water. So that's it. That I don't have to pay for nothing.
Got it.
So I make money. Go ahead.
So, no, and that's a perfect example. So you just use what you have, right? So you may not have a whole building, but you got rooms inside that single family. Use it. I'll go ahead.
Just to add to that, sorry. And then let's say you stay there for 2 years and you grow up. You're 19, you're 21, and you say, I am a grown guy now. I want my own place.
Now I rent the 4th bedroom and I make another $500. Now I'm
That is correct, sir. And then you move to another one.
Then you go move to another one using the same program.
Let's flip flop. Let's flip flop that.
Okay.
I buy that property. I have a bedroom.
Okay.
I meet a girlfriend. Girlfriend has a house, an apartment somewhere else. Things start to kick off. I stay with her more nights than not.
Oh, you painting a good picture right now. You painting.
You can have first time home buyers going, man, I need a girlfriend.
I need a girlfriend.
I need a boyfriend. I need a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Listen, what are you looking for, man? I just want a sweet girl. It's kind, nice.
And has her own apartment.
Own house, apartment, something like that. Look at it. So yeah, it's things like that, but that's creative.
Yeah.
As not creative as that may seem, it's creative still, right? Your girlfriend has an apartment or your boyfriend has an apartment or a house.
Even if you have a girlfriend that don't have an apartment, right? And you purchase that house. Now you're in a rooming house. You've been in this rooming house for 4 or 5 months and it's really not your favorite thing to do. But now you got a girlfriend. Let's say your girlfriend lives with her mom, her cousin, her brother, her sister. You know what? I'm making an extra $300 a month from this apartment. Let's go find you an apartment, for whatever it is. I got $300 free from this house and I can just go when I want and I'm gonna get brownie points.
Well, really, you'll have 800 once you move yourself out and remove yourself.
Right.
Yeah, but I can't totally remove myself till after the 2 years. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
there's a way around that.
No. You can't buy I can't say. Let's keep it. Yes. Without loopholing anything or anything like that. Yes, you should not remove yourself until after 2 years.
But your direction is she bought the property.
Or let's even flyer with it. She can buy another single family house for 100,000, 150,000.
That's correct. That's what I said.
Those 3 rooms, but it's got to be on that same level because
it's sacrifice though. It's sacrifice. No minimum privacy. The way you move is tiptoeing certain things. So
you got to deal with other personalities.
Yeah. So
just so you guys know, like, I know that sounds like a lot of creative analogies, but that's my real life. My real life is that I invested in a lifestyle and a thought process and in a direction. And my wife, my partner now, which once was my girlfriend, invested in that with me when she was my girlfriend.
Right. So
we did what I'm telling you together that way.
Y'all be on the same page. Page.
If it's not on the same page, you guys are on the same page. Just do it yourself.
And to be real with you, because we all know people have done this. I had a friend that was a little ahead of the curve with all this, and what he did was just move his best friends into his property. Didn't have to be college kids, people he knew, but he made sure he bought the property. And then while he was in there,
smart
with
guy.
Sweat equity, upstairs built a new bathroom over the years. Added a little bit of square footage here. In there, was getting the mortgage paid down, but through his best friends.
Right.
Those best friends were paying everything. He's adding value to the house. On top of that, when it was time to sell, everyone had to move, but he's the one that benefited from it the most.
Right.
You see, so it doesn't have to be just random people or students. It can be best friends. Yep. It doesn't have to be a multi-family. It can be a single family home. There's plenty of ways to take advantage of an FHA loan, and put down 3.5%.
That's dope. That's so true. So true. So
many ways, guys, get creative with this stuff. I mean, really just, it's ABC once you learn it, but while you're learning it, you really, really apply, your circumstances around it. Are you single? Do you have a girlfriend or boyfriend that would do this stuff with you and not mind, taking this journey with you, or can you not do it, or do you not want a multifamily? Do you want a single family where that may be your retirement house when it's all said and done? You want to cash it in, 40 years down the line, take all this stuff in consideration, come up with a game plan and then go execute it, and that's really what we want for you guys.
It comes down to sacrifice. If you're gonna sacrifice to get to the bag, what we say, or the goal that we get to, because if you don't sacrifice everything we've done, we sacrifice because we have families, we have friends, we have jobs, we sacrificed to get to the luxury of the goal that we want to get to. So it's the sacrifice to get to 100%. Now, if you're not going to be willing to sacrifice, there's ways around that. Multi-families, you don't have to sacrifice a lot. You have your own spot, you only have your own privacy, and you keep on going what you're going on moving forward. But if you are sacrificing and saying, hey, I could get the single family room and do a rent to rooms, then that's a sacrifice because you're playing with your privacy, you're playing with your day-to-day, and you're playing with that. It's the sacrifice. It's what you're going to go through. Absolutely. To get to the end goal, and that's what it comes down to. If you're not going to sacrifice, this conversation is not really for you. Yeah. But if you're willing to do that to get to the goal, because let's say you start at 19, and if you do it right, 26, 27, you're at a good position in your life.
Prime example. I got my nephew. He just graduated high school. He just got a job. He's working at a government entity where I used to work at. On a different level, and he's credit, he's establishing it now. he still lives at home with his mom, but we working on a double.
It's perfect time.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was like, "Yo, Theo, you know what's my next best move? Buy a double or buy a 4-unit, whatever you can afford to buy, whatever what you make at work, whatever you can get approved for a loan for, buy whatever the best thing you could buy."
Look at you giving multifamily advice. Ooh, go DT.
Let's be clear though. Let's be clear. You know, where my strategy and my mentality is now, it doesn't mean it started that way. And mind you, I've owned several multifamily. I still own multifamilies.
Right.
Just because it's not
your cup of tea doesn't mean the numbers don't work. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to sell them all. So my thing is also, I want to add on to this, because now that I'm thinking, like I tell you guys, this stuff is organic. So it comes from here. It comes from here. If you're not a shy person, you know, and you're able to be a landlord in a single family.
Let's take our left.
Yeah, shy person. What?
And if you're a shy person, if you're not a shy person, I said, and you're able to run a household where you have 4 bedrooms in it and you collect rent from them, and, you know, able to have the hard conversations when things need to get paid, when they're not getting paid, or have to have somebody pack their bags, depending on, you know, whatever circumstance that is. I mean, that's definitely a route. If that's not so much you don't want to have those hard conversations, and you're more on the timid side, you may want to go get a multifamily and then go get a PM, which is a property manager, right? And have them go ahead and do the dirty work for you while you live in the property. They may never know that you're even the owner.
I was definitely going to tell you. I have a friend of mine that he has a multifamily 4-unit property. He lives in the first floor, and they do not know he owns it.
No idea.
He has a property management do everything for them, and it's easy to catch on because he's very hands-on with it.
Right.
They do not know he owns it. He does not. So he walks in, drama free. They don't talk to him about anything. He walks in and says hello to everybody. He cleans up. Hey, pick up that trash. Being nice, wholesome, a neighbor, but technically he owns it.
Right. So and that's a way. You got a lot of people that hear nightmares all the time, like evicting people and having to deal, not living. We had the conversation. We have a friend going, "I'll never live in the building, you know, that I own. I'll never live in that building. I don't want people coming up to me." You're a property manager.
Somebody else owns?
Say that again.
But you'll live in a building that somebody else owns?
Well, here's what he means by this, is that he'll live in a building that someone else owns, but he has no responsibility, no ties to it. What he's saying is that he doesn't want to live in a building, be the owner, and then as soon as he gets to his door, you know, 2 neighbors are complaining.
14 people talking to him.
Yeah, and can you fix this? Can you do that? Or he has to go collect the rent. Guess what? If you got a property manager,
there's a solution for that. Right.
So for people that may not know that there's a solution for that, a property manager is definitely a solution for that, for sure.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
And
that's the way I would go.
Like a building super, right? So like a building super, property manager or a building super.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that also takes away from your bottom line now. That's probably not going to pay the rent or pay partial rent because they're fixing things and living on site. Yeah, but if they're on call 24.
If you have the proper amount of units and it makes sense,
right?
You hire a building super, right? If you got a 10, 15 unit building, right, you can afford to allow somebody to stay rent free and pay them for the maintenance. You know, a building super makes sense.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
But for the people that were saying that, you know, how to start your portfolio.
Yeah.
You know, most of those people aren't going to buy a 10 to 15 unit. So if most people starting their portfolio, you know, we're going to let them know, listen, here's what you can do realistically.
Yeah.
For the lane that you're in. Right. Yeah. So what you can do. And also, I know some people might go, well, I can do that for a single family and get a property manager. It's hard because you're the one interviewing them. You're the one telling them what room they're going to be staying in. You're the one. All that. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to really separate yourself after that point. Ask anyone that you know that's rich or wealthy. they got their hands in real estate somehow, some way. I mean, listen, guys, that's our best way or one of our best ways we feel to start your portfolio. But before we wrap it up, do you guys have anything else you want to add on?
I'll go in. Just know, this is one of the best way. This is one of the good ways to get in. If it's not, doesn't work for you, there's other ways to get in real estate. But this right here, if we were all younger, all independent with young and no kids and no family, this right here, man, is like a gem and it's gold.
1,000,000%.
The people don't really jump into it.
This will be
so. Not saying this is the only way, but this is one of the great ways to get in real estate. If you're at that age, at that freedom, and just in that type of space. So if you're okay with certain things, this is the way to go with, I think.
Yeah, I agree. If it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, they say. But if I was in a situation where I didn't have any kids, wife, family responsibilities, this would be a no-brainer for me. Like 1,000%, this would be the way I go in. Even if I had a kid, a wife.
Thank you. Gonna touch on that.
But I would still consider this, depending on the property.
The only issue in that, not to cut you off, right, is both of them. Your wife has to be on the same page. If she's not, that's a big problem.
But it's still a possibility, though.
Absolutely. No. Don't let me deter from that.
Sound super confident, and I don't want to sound like chauvinistic pig, but if she's not on the same page, then that wouldn't be my wife.
Yeah. Okay. Tell half of America. That's the end of the episode, that is over for it.
I'm being honest. That's me. That's who I am, and I'll take all the hits for that. But so to kind of finish that up. But that's what I would do if I was in the shoes, whether I was single, single, sexy, and free, or if I was single,
not
married with a kid, or just married with a kid on the way or whatnot, I would still consider it. You know what I mean? I would just figure out the location and whatnot. So, hey, to you guys, I would say this is the way. If you're looking to, invest in real estate, you don't know how, you don't know where to start. How do I do it? I don't have a lot of money, or maybe I do, but I don't want to spend it all. Listen close, because this is the way. This is what you don't learn in school. This is what most people don't know. Parents, teachers, family, friend, they don't tell you that. Most of your parents learned, I buy a house that I live in and I pay 3.5%. Right. Most of your family knows that, if you have an investment property, the only way to get it is you got to put 20% down.
Right.
And minimal returns, so just, pay attention, man.
I think my sale pitch to everyone I speak to, I go, what would you say if I could take your biggest bill away from you? Usually your biggest bill for most people is your rent or your mortgage. That's people's biggest bill in life. So what if I could take your rent from you and you don't pay that anymore, and you take that same rent money and now you put it in your pocket? Right. So when you go to work and you work the whole week and you work 60, 50, 60, 70 hours, and then you have to go give that portion to your landlord, what would you say if you take that portion and you pay yourself now?
Awesome. That's dope. And let's be clear. You don't have to have a bank account that has $100,000 in it. You don't. And also for you guys that may be out there like, hey man, I only got 5, 10, 15,000. This is reality for you too. This
is really for you.
Right.
For that 3.5%. This is for you. For sure. This is for you. Instead of that 20% where we talking about 80,000, now that 3.5% is now 14,000 for that same property for someone like you. I mean, this is what we do, man. Make sure if we miss something, guys, or if there's something you guys want to talk about, or if there's subject matter, listen, comment below. We read everything. And once again, thank you so much, our H.G.R.G family, for riding with us.
Salute.
Yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine.